The Intergenerational Urban Institute and the Center for Service Learning and Civic Engagement presents Celebration of Service Across the Ages, held in the Worcester State University Blue Lounge on April 10th, 2012.
I'm Mark Wagner. This is some of my students from the IELI program. We just have a little song to begin.
To this wonderful, wonderful celebration. Service is special, and you are special. We all know when we're involved in service, or we learn when we're involved in service, that we actually receive more than we get. But today we want to especially celebrate you and the goodness that ripples out from Worcester State University. We want to celebrate all the good things that are happening. We are in a troubled economy, a troubled time, and we are doing great stuff. So we want to start by welcoming those in the administration who are very supportive of all the good stuff. And I'm going to turn it over to President Barry Maloney to say a few words. I know he has many other meetings to go to, but hey, he came here first.
Thank you, and good afternoon, everyone. I was literally popping my head in to see what was going on, and got pulled into this wonderful meeting. And I apologize that I couldn't spend more time with you this afternoon, but I did want to echo what Maureen has said in terms of the importance of service. Since I arrived last July, I have talked a lot about with faculty and staff and students the need to cooperate, collaborate, and figure out the answers to the troubling questions that we have in front of us together ourselves. Because as we all know, as we look to have our problems solved by government in Boston or government in Washington, D.C., those answers that we're getting back are not suited and well-rooted in the problems that we are dealing with and the issues that we face here in the city of Worcester and at Worcester State University. So it's in our best interest, always in our best interest, to work collaboratively and to work together to try to come up with problems and solutions, I should say. We have plenty of problems. To come up with the solutions that are meaningful and have root here in Worcester State. And as someone who professes to all of our students that they need to experience the world of work before they leave, they need to experience the world before they leave, what better ways of doing that to provide service to our community. So I'd like to thank each and every one of you here in this room today for the service that you provide to our community, to Worcester State and the greater community of Worcester. But I'd also like to remind you that we need to bring more folks to the table. We need to think collaboratively, cooperatively, and work together to solve our issues and our problems. I thank you and congratulate you for today's event, and I hope you enjoy.
I want to give you just a very brief historical sketch of how we got to where we are today. And it began in the year 2001 that we started this celebration of service. And it was begun by the Intergenerational Urban Institute in memory of a wonderful student of ours, Evelyn Degnan, who came here after the death of her husband in 1983, and then got her urban studies degree, and was very invested in young people and in service. And she exemplified resilience and love of people of all ages. She wound up with 3 different bouts of cancer, and after each bout she came back and she continued to do service. And anytime I did anything that was elder only, she'd say, "Maureen, remember, it's intergenerational. That's what we're all about." So this memorial began because an elder student at Worcester State so exemplified service in her life before she came. She helped us form the Institute. We wanted to keep celebrating service and its legacy. And then we were so glad 5 years ago when the Center for Service Learning got off the ground that we combined forces. So we truly celebrate service across the spectrum here. And we are delighted that we have the support of our president and our provost, Charlie Cullum, who is going to say a few more words. But I just want to say to you again, you are special, and we are delighted that we can welcome you and celebrate you. Charlie?
Good afternoon. I want to welcome everyone here today for our annual celebration of service across the ages. One of the great events at the time of the academic year when we recognize accomplishments across the university. I'm going to go off on a tiny tangent for 1 minute. All of us here at Worcester State know about the Vision Project, which is an initiative of the Massachusetts Department of Higher Education and the Commissioner, Richard Freeland. The vision is that we, that is Massachusetts public higher education, will, quote, produce the best educated workforce and citizenry in the nation, end quote. Just within the last month or so, there has been serious discussion at the state level about the Vision Project adding another outcome to the ones they already have. There are 5 that have to do with college participation, the college-going rates of high school graduates, college completion, the graduation rates and the second-year retention rates for those students, student learning, academic achievements by standard national assessments of learning, workforce alignment, how our degree programs prepare students to be successful in key areas of workforce need in the state's economy, and the fifth one, the elimination of disparities in outcomes among different ethnic, racial, economic, and gender groups. The new one that is under discussion, the sixth outcome, is how we educate our students for citizenship and civic engagement. Well, while there may be some hard negotiation about to take place about what form such assessment should take, I believe that we here at Worcester State can be confident that we will excel in the results of that assessment. For our commitment, as you're going to hear today, and our achievement in community service is broad and deep. For example, since 1993, Maureen Power and the Intergenerational Urban Institute have brought together college students of all ages to, as its mission statement says, quote, foster growth in knowledge, skill development, and interpersonal relationships that enable people to work effectively in service in the greater Worcester community, end quote. The IUI offers community-focused programs such as the Elder Immigrant Tutoring Program, the Aging Matters program, which matches students and elders in neighboring senior housing complexes, the Hunger Outreach program, which brings an intergenerational group of Worcester State students to work to reduce hunger through research and through projects such as the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, which helps elders and college students qualify for food stamps. Another major component of our service work comes through the Center for Service Learning and Civic Engagement. I'm very pleased to tell you, and many of you may have already heard this because we've been talking about it since it happened on March 12th, that Worcester State has been named to the 2012 President's Higher Education Community Service Honor Roll by the Corporation for National Community Service. The honor roll recognizes higher education institutions that reflect the values of exemplary community service and achieve meaningful outcomes in their communities. Our selection to this honor roll is recognition from the very highest levels of the federal government of our commitment to service and civic engagement. Some of the work of the center includes alternative spring breaks. A couple of those this spring were with Heifer International, in which student leaders went on a 2-night trip at Overlook Farm in Rutland, where they participated in farm chores in order to learn firsthand about poverty and the fundamentals of agricultural subsistence. Another alternative spring break was, of course, in Nicaragua, where we went for the 6th year. 10 students worked with a non-profit agency located in Managua called Mana Project International to advance the well-being and increase independence and self-sufficiency of the local people. In today's celebration, you're going to hear about even more terrific projects that our students, faculty, and staff accomplished through the IUI and the Center for Service Learning and Civic Engagement. Last year, we started doing a much better job tracking the numbers of hours that our students and faculty put into the community. Last year, that number was over 85,000 hours. This year, we're on track to increase that number. So, again, welcome. You're going to see why we are sure that Worcester State will surpass any standard for civic engagement. Thanks for being here.
And now, we are going to go forward and present a few awards. The first award is the Degnan Intergenerational Service Award. And I'm going to ask Lionel Carbonneau and Ali Suinart to please come forward. You've heard mention the Immigrant Tutoring Program. Let me just say that it is something that we cherish and love, and we are privileged to not only welcome elder immigrants on this campus, but we have also been invited by the director of the Housing Authority to go on site and tutor elder immigrants. You know, when you're asked to do big things, you need to have big people around you. And we are so fortunate in Lionel Carbonneau, who has been our, quote, master teacher. Lionel originally worked for Paul Revere and then for Tatnick Bookseller. I don't know how many of you remember Tatnick Bookseller, but it was a great spot. And he found himself very, very interested in working with people who need help with their English skills. And he became a part of Literacy Volunteers for America. And then he got hooked by a gentleman who frequented Tatnick Bookseller. And, do you remember? And this gentleman said, you've got to come to Worcester State. So Lionel came, and you know how you can tell somebody's really got it? Well, I knew he really had it. He then helped us expand to do programs on site at Bet Shalom, and when we were asked to do a program at 425 Pleasant Street, I was like, ooh, I don't know if we can do this. And I said, Lionel, what do you think? And he said, you know I love a challenge. And so from then on, we have also been on site. Lionel, we could never have done it without you. You are a master teacher, and you're an incredible friend to immigrants and to us. And we present to you the Degnan Intergenerational Service Award. And next, there's Allie. Now, Allie came to us as a freshman, and she got involved in the program. She's with communication disorders. And she was like, I really love this program. We needed a coordinator. After only one semester in the program, Allie said, I can do it. I know I can do it. And I looked at her and I said, I think you can. And so for these 4 years, Allie has been our program coordinator. She was the one that did all of the work that got us started at 425. She's the one that kept everything going here at the same time. And I'd say, Allie this, Allie, she said, I got it covered, don't worry. And so Allie is about to graduate and is actually working full-time right now. But we want you to know that your leadership in coordinating this program has been incredible, and that we will always be grateful to you for all you have done. So receive this service award. We also, you know, it's one thing hearing it from me, but we thought since the immigrants are such an important part of our program that we would ask them to say a couple of words themselves. So Kelsey is now our program coordinator. Kelsey.
Hello, I'd just like to introduce our speakers. Our first speaker today will be Aferdita Dishnica, who has been involved in the tutoring program for the past 6 years. She's from Tirana, Albania, and is a graduate of the university there, and she followed a career in education. During her involvement in this program, Aferdita and her husband have become United States citizens. Would you like to come and say a few words?
Congratulations, everyone. My husband and I lived in Bet Shalom for 5 years. We learn English for Bet Shalom, at Bet Shalom. With Professor Lionel and early. This is good help for me and for my husband. Professor Lionel told me, us, for speak only English, and we speak only English. Every year we learn English little more. He is help for pass test for American citizen, and my husband and me have become citizen American. That make us very happy. Thank you, Professor Lionel, and Ellie. Thank you, all students for help for we. Thank you, Worcester State University. Thank you, everyone, for. Thank you. Thank you.
The next person we would like to have speak is Aristotle Mici, who is also from Albania. He has been involved in our program since 2007. He worked as a professor in Albania and came to the United States 10 years ago. Aristotle has spent many hours working with Lionel to translate his fables from Albanian into English, and these stories have come out mighty perfect, if I do say so myself. Last year, Aristotle graduated from Worcester State with a master's degree in history. Aristotle?
Good afternoon and congratulations to everyone. My name is Aristotle Mici. I came from Albania. In my country, I was a publisher and writer. I published in several of my books. And when I arrived to the United States, I always dreamed about translating some of my fables to English. At this time, my knowledge of English was very limited. Everything changed when I joined the Immigrant Tutoring help at Worcester State University, and my dream came true. I'm appreciative of the huge help given me by my great English tutor, Mr. Lionel Carbonneau. He not only taught me English with patience and passion, but impressed me with his enthusiasm for my writing. He encouraged me to try translating my writing. Second, Mr. Carbonneau corrected me my essay about the poem Skanderbeg that was written by Henry Longfellow. Skanderbeg was the first king of Albania, and he was a protector of Europe from Turkish invasion. And Longfellow wrote a poem about him, and this is one part for all Albanian people. Third, Mr. Carbonneau helped me by edit my original poetry from works like this. At the end of the winter, we dream of the spring, while the snow melts and grass grows fast green. The nature is reborn. In the great domain, cheerfully our heart says, this is wonderful spring. In this wonderful spring meeting, I thank Mr. Lionel Carbonneau for his help and for his friendliness. I thank all the tutors and staff, especially the young lady tutor Ali or Alicia. At this time, I thank with great consideration Dr. Power for her attention to our elder students program. I thank all the staff Worcester State University here. Thanks for your attention.
Finally, we have Ferat Kroi, who has been involved with the Immigrant Tutoring Program at 425 Pleasant Street since its inception. He worked as a mechanical engineer in Tirana, Albania, and came to Worcester in 2006. During his involvement in the program, Ferat has also become a United States citizen.
Hi everyone. My name is Ferat Kroi. I have come in the United States of America from Albania in June 2006. My last name, Kroi, is an Albanian name and it means spring as in spring water. I was born in city Tirana, capital of Albania, in April 24, 1937. When I was young, I wanted to be a driver or tradesman. When I grew up, I am become mechanical engineer. For that, I have finished study in Albanian University. My first language is Albania. Albania is a small country in Europe, close to Serbia in north, Greece in south, Macedonia in east, and Adriatic Sea, Italia in west. Albania is one of the oldest countries in Europe. It is also called Shqiperia, and its name means the land of eagles, because Albanians like to live free, like eagles do. I am married to my wife, Shpresa. We have 2 children. The oldest son lives in Canada. He is married and has one daughter, 12 years old. My second son lives here in America. He is married and has 2 children. One boy, 11 years old, and one girl, 9 years. We have made family reunion with him, and now we live together here in Worcester, Massachusetts. In July 2011, I became an American citizen. For that, I am very glad. My Albanian family, heritage now, has another great name, to be proud of the American name. I am still the same person that I used to be. In the end, I want to say thank you, U.S., United States of America, for allowing me to become part of your nation. Thank you, Worcester State University. And without only my noble teachers, Lionel and Alice, and young teachers, Sam and Kelsey, for your help in learning English language. I hope in the future can be better. I become in your classes because I want to improve my pronunciation and speaking ability, listening skills, reading and writing ability. For that, I can never rest till all good will come to better best. Thank you very much for your time.
Ladies first, Allie. No, just kidding. Most of you know that I'm usually not speechless, but today I am. And I'd just like to say just very few words. Thank you, Worcester State, for giving me and Allie this wonderful opportunity to have our lives impacted and to provide something for other people. Dr. Powers, thank you so much for grabbing my arm and pulling me along. And Fran, wherever you are, thank you for always helping us, Fran, in the program. But most of all, I want to thank the people over there at that table. You'd heard them in 2007. None of them could form a full sentence. And they basically could just barely understand English. They're my heroes. Aferdita, can you imagine? I asked her one day how she got to work at the church. What else? A bicycle. I still have dreams of Aferdita just pedaling along. Thank you, Aferdita. Aristotle, the last tutoring I gave him, I told him, vocal variety when he delivered his poems. Beautiful. You did a great job. And thank you, Ferat. Just to show you how these people impacted my life, just last night I was speaking to somebody on the telephone because I work at the Dismiss program where we provide meals to people that have come out of institutions. And I couldn't make it. We're going on a cruise. And the man has his son, his daughter, and he's got 2 grandchildren in the house. And I said to him, wow, what an experience that is to have your own children in your house. Once I asked Ferat and the other Albanians to write about their family histories and what was it they didn't like about the United States. And there wasn't much. But Ferat said to me, he missed the families all being in the same building that they had in Albania. And I thought about that. It isn't that long ago that the Worcester people were all in 3-deckers. But anyways, people have really impacted me. Your pronunciation was terrific. Thank you very much.
I'm going to alter the program just slightly for a minute here because I know she has to leave, but I wanted to give a word to Kerr Tao, who has to leave shortly. Kerr and I have just met, but Kerr came into Worcester State as a nursing student, which, as many of you know, is a very rigorous program. So she's, I'm sure, one of our best students. But she started taking courses with people like Matt Johnson and Matt Taylor, and my predecessor at the center, Joyce Mandel. And that changed her focus and her life. She began to work with youth, particularly at the Worcester Youth Center, and has gone from being an intern at the Worcester Youth Center to being an employee at the Youth Center. And I think, where is Kerr? She's going to Newark. I think she's taking a job in Newark, New Jersey, which is my old neighborhood, where I know there's plenty of work with the youth as well. So, Kerr, I know you have to leave, but please, everyone, a big hand for Kerr Tao. About 10 months ago, my life changed when Maureen Shamgojian, the Vice President of Academic Affairs, and our Provost, Charlie Cullum, asked me if I'd be interested in doing some work at the center. And I started to hear almost immediately the name Barbara Canyes, maybe first from Leanne, I don't know. But I was determined to meet her, and we had a number of conversations on the phone. And not only was she supportive of my learning curve, which was quite steep at that time, but she agreed to come to Worcester State, and in early October, Barbara came out to Worcester State to meet with Maureen and Charlie and the new president, Barry Maloney, which was extraordinarily helpful at that time. And we've since become friends, or actually she's still mentoring me in many ways. She calls me up and she says, "It's Barbara," and I know who it is. And so I'm delighted that she's here to be our keynote today. She is the executive director of the Mass Campus Compact, which has 70 members throughout Massachusetts. Campus Compact is a national organization that supports community-based and experiential learning. And again, she's just been tremendously helpful. We've seen each other out at different conferences and whatnot. And so I feel that part of the success of the center this year, as witnessed by all you here, is due in part to Barbara's mentoring me through this first year. So, Barbara Canyes.
Thank you. I'm going to be short because I asked my daughter, who's a freshman in college, not here, but I left the house this morning. I said, what do you think I should do? She said, don't be boring. So I didn't go, and she also suggested I bring candy and throw it into the audience, but I said, no, I don't think I'll do that. Thank you for the introduction. I also have a great connection here to Worcester State. I grew up in Worcester. My parents were recent immigrants, Russian Jewish immigrants, and moved to Worcester in, I think that was like early 1950s. We lived in the 3-deckers for a long time. And then my parents bought their first house down on Chandler Street at Tappick Square. And according to my father, and I do agree now, that they had made it, they had finished everything, although they did want to send me to college. And I think the disappointment was that I wanted to get out of Worcester. So I did go to college, but not in Worcester. And so I do like coming back here. I still have family and friends. And I feel very close to the city. So that's why I was very interested in mentoring Mark, because I don't want a college from my hometown that is not the #1 state university in service. Quickly, I want to tell you a little bit, and I'm also thinking about the people here that may be full-time students and that are trying to carve out a career. I want to clarify something that a lot of people have myths about, and that is that service is just something you do as an extra. It's something you may do on the weekend. It's something you may do because your faculty member made you. It might be, I remember, again, when my daughter was in high school, her field hockey coach made her do it so that they could complete their phys ed requirement, which I thought was awful, awful. And I want to talk to you, I want to say that it's really become a field, a profession, a career path. I guess one could say that I represent one career path, that I've been working in the service higher education field now for 25 years. And 25 years ago, what we did in service on college campuses, can you imagine what we did? I'll tell you what I did most of my day 25 years ago. I would get calls from faculty that wanted to do service. Please excuse any faculty in the audience. My job was to find a van for them so that they could put students on a van and drive somewhere and do service. That's all I did. Until one day I said to the president, you know, there's got to be a better way. You don't need me to go look for a van. And then gradually the work turned into something that faculty were interested in bringing into the classroom. And then gradually it became an imprint on a college campus. And colleges and universities across the country, across the globe now, have made service a part of who they are, a part of their culture, a part of the classroom. I have many, many more faculty say to me, I want to find a way to incorporate it, rather than 20 years ago, faculty would always push back. And again, I'd love to debate you, that would say, it's extra, and I can't do that. What we're seeing today is that the college students that come in, when they take tours, they don't just want to know where the library is. They don't want to just know where the sports arena is. In all our survey work we've been doing in the last 5 years, one of the top 3 things that incoming high school students want to know about is what goes on this campus that has to do with service, service learning, and the whole culture of the university. So it's part of this generation. And I also want to tell the people that are looking for jobs, again, it's not an add-on. People in nonprofits make very good salaries and can hold down a family, buy a house. That's another thing I get pushback from a lot of particularly young people. They'll say, oh, well, you know, I never could do anything if I worked in the nonprofits. come and talk to me sometime, or look up all the salaries at Publix and nonprofits. You'll see we all make decent salaries. The other thing I want to tell you about is that there are jobs out there right now, and during this dismal climate where everyone is concerned about the economy, the federal government is offering a lot of jobs for people that are interested in service in this country and in service in other countries. How many, of course, know about the Peace Corps? How many know about Teach for America? How many know about the AmeriCorps Vista program? Good. And by the way, our organization hires 30 AmeriCorps Vista college graduates every year. We've been doing it for 15 years. There are also 10 other corps across the country. The jobs are there. Many of the master's degree programs, there's one out in Springfield. If you're a Vista, they pay for your tuition. There's a lot of great creative packaging for further education, for career paths, and involvement in the service world. So I wanted to share that with you. It's not an add-on. It's not something you just do while you pursue another career. You can pursue this and also feel like you're making changes in society. I also wanted to end by saying congratulations to the winners, but also to recognize that all of us that do service in one way or another, and if you're like me, you may be in the audience and say, oh, those people got the awards, but I have no time, so, you know, that's all I can say, but I'm here for my friend. But I want to show you that we're all involved in service. So I'm going to have, just to get you, as my daughter would say, wake up and not be too bored, I'm going to ask you to stand up when you hear a service activity that you do on a regular basis. Okay, so how many people get involved in food drives? Please stand up and stay up. In some time in your life, 30 years ago, now. How many people did service in high school? How many people give blood? How many people tutor? And I think we already know that we've got quite a few people that tutor. How many people are mentors that work with young children to spend some time with them? How many people have gone on an alternative break, either in country or, please stay up while you're up. And, I'm sorry, I left my glasses. How many people are working in environmental projects, one way or another? Well, I want you to just scan the audience and see that it's not just the winners today that are involved in service, but all of you, and the list could go on and on. So I want to congratulate you. Everyone, as Mark says, I guess, seem to know my name. So if you have questions about career paths, opportunities, or service programs around the state, around the country, around the globe, please feel free to email me. And congratulations. Decided as an organization that there were so many students doing unbelievable things in the community that were changing people's lives, that were starting projects that were going on and then were funded and became million-dollar initiatives. And these were because of undergraduate students that worked on projects. And we now see students actually doing what we call community-based research, where they research issues and find out some solutions and then can bring those solutions to the people that can move to create a better neighborhood. And I know you have one here today. So we picked a Worcester State University to be Campus Compact Newman Scholar this year.
Yeah, just quickly, I had Patrick when he was a freshman in my politics of rock and roll class. He studied, everyone wanted to do Hendrix and Morrison and the Rolling Stones, but Patrick picked Harry Chapin as a research subject, so I was so delighted by that. But anyway, this is a national fellowship, and we're really, really proud of Patrick, the current SGA president, and also now a Newman Civic Fellow. Big round of applause, please. We're going to keep moving. When I stepped into the role of director of the center, I inherited a number of projects, including Aldo's Nicaraguan trip, his class about U.S. policy in Nicaragua, and also I learned quickly about Kate Balder's trip to Belize, where she takes 10 nursing students to Belize to do health assessments among effectively the poor, and to distribute health supplies. And in researching that, finding out about what I was getting my hands into, I learned that Kate had a member of the community, the business community, at All Care Medical Supply in Millbury, who was sending down medical supplies, and then not only medical supplies, but beginning last year, sent down an assistant to go with our students and keep statistics. And I said, well, how did you meet this guy? And Kate said, we met at a bake sale at Garrity's supermarket in Millbury. And I said, well, we have to get him out here. And thankfully, he is here, and Kate's going to say something about Bill Fredericks. So, Dr. Kate Balder.
Good afternoon and congratulations, everyone. I am really happy to be here today to publicly thank and celebrate the diligence and generosity and compassion of a very special man that I didn't have a forum to do this in before. So I am just overjoyed. Just want to tell you a little bit about the man, Bill Fredericks. He started All Care Medical Supply in April of 2000. He says with a home equity loan, no employees, no customers, and no referral base. The fact that Mr. Fredericks grew All Care from nothing but a vision is remarkable in itself. Yet, as All Care grew, it has also been Bill Fredericks' vision to become a strong community partner and a supporter of local efforts of all kinds. So bear in mind, as I describe how Worcester State University's Lillian Goodman Department of Nursing and the WSU Nursing Healthcare Outreach Projects and the International Programs Office have come to know Mr. Fredericks. His company, All Care Medical, also supports the local police and fire departments, the local DARE program, youth soccer, Babe Ruth baseball, Pop Warner football, cheerleading, and they've been sponsors of the Worcester Ice Cats in his spare time. As with all remarkable relationships, this one started by chance. In our third year of running the healthcare outreach projects in Belize, we were digging and scraping for donations because the medical healthcare supplies that we go through are quite costly. So we had a bake sale at Garretti's in Millbury. They were kind enough to have us there, and it was there he stopped and he spoke to one of the nursing students. Said he was interested in supporting a healthcare project such as ours. He gave the student his number, and from that first call, Mr. Fredericks has not stopped supporting us in every way possible. He asked for a list of what we needed. He supplied all kinds of disposables like combs, nail clippers, medication cups, thermometers, thermometer covers, as well as substantial equipment like glucometers, nebulizers, otoscopes. And he is very interested that we actually use all the donations this year. When the supplies came in just a few days before packing day, he had them actually delivered. He drove them to us to make sure that they get where they were going. He hasn't stopped donating supplies and equipment. And last year he sent us a secret weapon named Jill. She's also here. I won't make her stand, to accompany us on the trip. She is a secret weapon. She's got a sunny disposition. She's got terrific organizational skills, and she quickly became the flow manager. She checked the kids in and out, and she also managed the data. So in short, it was really outstanding. We never had anybody like that before. Pretty remarkable, you know, so remarkable, but it's even more remarkable is that Mr. Fredericks and All Care paid her trip expenses and paid her full work wages to come and work for us. And this is where it gets really amazing, because All Care has a program that allows employees to volunteer during work hours and get their regular pay. They work up to 40 hours a year, and they can volunteer for the charity of their choice. Actually, he didn't tell me this. I read it on a website in Millbury. He doesn't like to tell you everything that he does. So I was really happy to hear that he's supporting volunteers all over the community. Without his help, our healthcare outreach efforts would be unable to serve the remote village children that we do serve in such a professional capacity. We see between 500 and 700 children and some of their families on each trip, and along with physical care carried out with equipment supplied by Mr. Fredericks, each child leaves with a goodie bag of personal health supplies to maintain, like a comb, nail clippers, dental floss, toothbrushes, soap, and the like. These bags would be pretty empty, and we would be able to see fewer children. As far as I know, he's never denied a request that I have made. I think that makes him happiest. In fact, when I ask him to replenish our supplies, he knows that we've given away everything. And we've given it to people who are doing without it. So whenever I give a doctor, a nurse, a local healthcare worker a blood pressure cuff, a stethoscope, a glucometer, an otoscope, I'm pretty free to give them away because it comes and it goes. And what goes around comes around. So I always tell them about this man who loves to give me equipment just so that I can give it to underserved communities. And when appropriate, give it away to healthcare workers and families. Invariably, their eyes gloss over and they say, "What a wonderful man. How did you meet him?" And this is especially true. I have one picture in mind of a mom of an asthmatic kid who received a nebulizer from us. Can you imagine going and giving a child one treatment on a nebulizer and walking away? I couldn't do it, so of course we left it. And they're so grateful. So they asked me where I found him. I say, that's the amazing thing. He found me. I didn't even have to look for him. And so it's amazing that he found me, and through me he found you too. Sometimes life's better than you think it will be. And that's kind of how I introduce him to people who probably will never meet him. So far, he has placed a nebulizer and an otoscope at the border of Thailand and Laos, stethoscopes in Tanzania, an otoscope and thermometers in Haiti, and all of the above in rural villages in Belize, which is where we go the most. Mr. Frederickson lives in Sutton with his wife Ann, who is a nurse, and they have 3 children, Billy, Chris, and Victoria. He sits on the Sutton Board of Health, again, in his spare time, I'm sure. And it's my great pleasure to give this award to Mr. Fredericks, along with a frame of pictures from the outreach projects in Belize.
Oh, no way. Oh,
Yes, way.
Thank you so much.
You're entirely welcome. Thank you so much.
I'll just say a couple words if you don't mind. I want to thank Kate and Dr. Baldor and for actually the work that they do. I've been blessed in this business to have terrific employees, Jill being one of them. And when I first started the business with no employees, you think I used to come home after a 16-hour day and think to myself, am I going to survive in this business? And I'm a firm believer in not so much karma, but to one who is given much, one is expected. And I kind of live that, and I'm only this nice because of my wife who's taking pictures. The Proverbs, I believe it's 11 or 18, says, he who refreshes others will himself be refreshed. And I certainly get refreshed when we get to do things like this. And the story was funny. I went down to get a gallon of milk down at Goretti supermarket. It was the most expensive trip to the supermarket I ever made. And I've since go to Stop and Shop just in case there's something else or someone else out there. But the Charles experience was out there, and I get to chat about the program and what they did. And it just touched me so much how dedicated these kids were. And I'm thinking, man, they're only kids and they're going to other countries to do this wonderful work, and it was a perfect fit for what touches me in here. And in business, especially today's environment, you look at the 99%, the 1%, but business owners aren't all the 1% that are up there, just trying to take in money. I think a lot of us realize, at least I know I do, that I didn't graduate college. I didn't go to a business course. I never took a sales course. But I was streetwise, and again, I feel as though I was blessed with certain gifts that helped me to start a business. And
and obviously to surround myself with terrific employees that share the same vision as I do. And when we put forth that program about volunteering in the community, they all took their ownership of their own separate thing, separate charity, and I think they've all been enriched personally by doing that. So it goes way beyond just being in business. I mean, this is, we're all in this together. And I've been just so blessed to have Dr. Beldor in this program with me, because the best part of my whole year is when I get pictures of the cutest little kids in the world getting, you know, little health checks, and I see all my stuff in there, you know, and it's just been a real thrill for me. And you know, I'm pretty much out there. I'm pretty, you know, I don't get shy easy, but this really is tough for me to do this because you just kind of like to do these things in anonymity and just get that private thrill. But if anything, I thought this was a good opportunity to tell the students, the young people here, is to engage people that are in the business community. Don't automatically think that we're sitting on a throne on top of a ton of money and we don't want to anybody to bother us. There are a lot of good people, especially in the Worcester community and beyond, that would be more than happy to get involved in some of the wonderful work that you do. So thank you very much. She's getting up now.
There's Jill, who has been down there twice for the lease. Keeping the statistics, that Kate and I are going to write an article soon. It falls to me to keep the afternoon rolling, but it also dawns on me that we could do this once a month and still continue to celebrate the amazing work being done in Worcester State's community and in the business community and elsewhere. But when I did put out the call for who should be honored, I got you know, I don't know if emails can sound urgent, but this one sounded urgent from Linda Larrivee that she wanted to honor Anne Venziano Korzek. So Linda's going to say a few words about
that. It was an urgent email because Anne Venziano Korzek is a very special person on this campus. I don't know how many of you know, but there is, since 1970, the Worcester State University has had a speech-language hearing center. It used to be in the Sullivan building. It's now in the Science and Tech building, where we serve patients from the greater Worcester area who have, we work with patients from ages 2 through 90 plus. These people who we serve have developmental disabilities or acquired disabilities, such as strokes or traumatic brain injuries. We also serve people who stutter, who have voice disorders, who are English language learners, and who may have reading and writing disorders. Through all of this, Anne Venziano Korzek is the director of the center. And although there's a mandate from the profession of speech-language pathology about service, and that all students in the profession of speech-language pathology must provide 400 service hours before they graduate, Anne really goes well beyond what the basic mandate is. As Maureen Power said earlier, she started this by saying that service is special. And when I hear service is special, I think about Anne, because she devotes her entire career to service, and she does so in a really special way. I remember one time at a conference in California, she got up at 4 o'clock in the morning so she could start returning phone calls from various agencies, because she constantly seeks to strengthen our affiliations in the private schools, the public K through 12 schools, hospitals, long-term care facilities, and clinics throughout Massachusetts, Rhode Island, New Hampshire, and Connecticut, and beyond. And Anne is constantly developing these new affiliations for Worcester State University. She single-handedly provides, helps our students and individually places them. I know she's supposed to work 40 hours a week, but I can tell you that most weeks she's working 45 to 60 because she's making these phone calls on her own time and during the weekends to assure that the relationships with the community continue to be strong and continue to grow. So when I heard about this service award for a staff or faculty member, I immediately contacted Mark with a very long email. And if he hadn't responded immediately, I would have kept on emailing him. Thank you for responding to my urgency. But Marcus also had some connection with Anne, who also documents the large number of hours that our students do give to the community every semester and communicates these to Mark. I'm very sorry to say that Anne can't be here today because her husband passed away last week. But I'm also here not only to talk about Anne, but to collect the award for her. So thanks again, Mark. And thank you again,
One of the best moments for me this year was, I forget how we met, but I was talking to a student, Asia Simpson, and I said, you know, and I heard that she went on the trip to Nicaragua last year, and I said, how was that? She said, it changed my life. And I was quite amazed by that. And so when it was time to schedule today, I thought, well, I really want to get Dr. Guevara up here and to say a few words about Asia, who's gone through some just tremendous experiences through ALDO and Worcester State's service programs.
First of all, I want to say how glad I am to be here with so many students who are doing such great work in this community and then the sort of larger community, and I'll say a few things about that in a moment. The chief purpose of the Alternative Spring Break, the international service learning trip to Nicaragua, is to give the students the opportunity to expand their horizons and to develop the analytic tools to be able to engage their community and to really be able to think about not only community as here at Worcester State University, Worcester, City of Worcester, Greater Worcester County and area, regional, national, and international as well. And for me, that's one of the things that I really enjoy about having the opportunity to lead this trip. And Asia is a wonderful example of exactly that, of someone who has gone through the experience and then now has been transformed, and that's ultimately the purpose of the trip, is to transform the students who go on it, and to now become then engaged citizens and global citizens. And again, Asia is a great example of that. And so she has now gone on. We work with an organization called Mana Project International in Nicaragua. She has returned there to work back with the community, has participated in the Heifer project, the trip there this last spring break. And so, again, she continues to engage community locally and internationally. So I just want to take then this time to honor Asia Simpson. Here you are. Okay, great. Absolutely. Congratulations.
It's a little less successful on the Heifer trip. That's an inside joke. But we now have a series of student awards that I know a little bit less about, so I'm just going to turn it over to the people involved. Stephanie Chaluka is the chair of nursing and is here to present 4 awards to nursing students for their community engagement. Stephanie.
Hi everyone. Congratulations to everybody sitting in this room for all of your efforts. Even though this might not be the year you're recognized, please know in the community and the people that you work with every day, you are valued and appreciated. I would like actually to bring each of the nursing students up together for a reason. So Becky Wong, Tina Paul, oh, here comes Tina. I saw that. Hi, Bet. Mary Colaro and Mary Moynihan. I wanted to bring all 3 of our students together because these are all students in our Master of Science in Nursing program. And our Master of Science in Nursing program has Mary. Our Master of Science in Nursing program has 2 tracks. One of the tracks is Community and Public Health Nursing. And the entire track, service learning, is woven through every single course. And so it was very hard as we were asked to, as the solicitation came out, to identify outstanding students, because in each of their own ways, every student in my master's in the Community Public Health Nursing program is outstanding. But I have before you 4 really outstanding and shining examples of people who are dedicated to public health and to promoting health and to promoting health for people that are underserved and vulnerable. And so those most in need in our society. And here I have 4 women whose work is just unbelievably inspirational. Bet is one of our MS students, as I said, and Bet, I first met Bet when I was a professor at the University of Massachusetts Lowell, and the first time I met her, she was incredibly impressive. And she has had a deep and lifelong commitment to health literacy from the day I met her, continuing, and she'll be graduating this year. And part of what Bet did while she was here was she was named a Paul Ambrose Fellow, which is a public health fellowship. It's very prestigious. We were very fortunate that this was the first time Worcester State University ever had a Paul Ambrose Fellow, and Bet was it. And that was in recognition for the work that she did in the area of health literacy. She created a community university partnership in which Worcester State University graduate students work together with healthcare providers in a shared vision of creating a healthier Central Mass through health literacy. And so for those of you that don't really understand what health literacy means, it means how well do we understand the health information that's being communicated for us so that we can make use of it and be healthy people. As you may or may not have been aware at your last visit to the doctor, sometimes it's not all that clear. And so Bet has done amazing work in that area. And so I would like to acknowledge Bet at this point. And congratulations on your upcoming graduation. The next student to be acknowledged is Tina Paul. And Tina Paul is a second master's student here at Worcester State University. She graduated from Worcester State University in our undergraduate nursing program, came back and did a master's degree in healthcare administration, and came back yet another time to earn a master's degree in nursing in the community and public health track. Tina's work has been really nothing short than amazing. Tina's a person, given the little bio I just gave you, you can say this is a woman with a lot of energy. And indeed, that attribute most certainly describes Tina. Tina has been working with several boards of health in central Massachusetts to help them to develop options for bringing their towns into compliance with a set of regulations that were promulgated with the intention of stopping sharps and syringes and medical waste from making its way into the community waste stream, because this posed not only a risk to people in the community, but also people that might have occupational exposure in terms of downstream as waste handlers. This was a very big job. Not only did Tina agree to do this for one town, Tina actually agreed to do this for 4 towns. So her work this year has been to bring Hopkinton, Holliston, and Ashland, and Medway, into compliance with this very important regulation. And this was something that would have been a very significant burden had Tina not been able to help these boards of health. So congratulations, Tina. The next student is Mary Moynihan. Mary Moynihan is also a Master of Science in Nursing student, and Mary's work has been very interesting this year. Mary has been working with people from the Massachusetts Department of Public Health, the Division of Occupational Health Surveillance, As you may know, some of us go to work every day to jobs that have quite a bit of risk. And sometimes people just say it's just part of doing the job. But we also know, because occupational health is a science, we understand that there are ways to engineer risk out of the job and ways to make jobs safer so that people go to work, have a reasonable expectation of coming home not injured, not sick because of their work, or not even the victim of an occupational health fatality. Mary's done wonderful work this year with the Massachusetts Department of Public Health on a project to examine the workplace hazards faced by people from the Occupational Safety and Health Administration compliance officers who are, and technicians that are working in wind turbines. As you know, Massachusetts is leading the way in terms of wind technology for power generation. Unfortunately, one of the things that happens when people lead the way is we find out a lot of things the hard way, and other people learn from our experiences. So Mary has spent the year, and will actually be spending most of her summer, working on ways to think about ways that the OSHA compliance officers and technicians that are working in the wind turbines can be safer at work. So Mary's work relates to occupational health surveillance and recommendations for prevention for injury and illness. So congratulations, Mary. And finally, our last nursing star is Mary Collaro. Mary is one of our RN to MS students, and Mary's been working very hard this year to start a special interest organization right here on our campus. This is Mary's opportunity for community engagement. The organization is called Active Minds. So Worcester State University Active Minds is part of a national organization that utilizes the student voice on campus to increase awareness of mental health issues, and whose goal is to encourage students to speak openly and seek help relative to mental health issues. And one more thing about Mary, and this is what I think is the really amazing thing, is when I introduced Bet, I indicated that she was Worcester State's first Paul Ambrose Fellow, the Public Health Leadership Fellowship. Something very unusual happened this year. Not only do those fellowships not frequently go to people in the same school, it's highly unheard of that the fellowship would go to somebody in the same school at the same time we have another Paul Ambrose Fellow. We were recently notified that in recognition of Mary's work, Mary has been selected as a Paul Ambrose Fellow. So we congratulate her. So thank you very much, all of you, for celebrating service, and thank you all of you for celebrating service and engagement in our department and campus-wide. We really are so pleased. Thank you.
Well, as you can hear from all this good work, the angels have arrived. They are, no, actually, each year, the Worcester State Chorale does a couple of songs just to liven us up. I think it's good timing. Where'd Fran go? I think they're warming up in the next room. Maureen, how did I end up as MC for this? You got to get up here and carry some of this. I need a raise for today. This is a lot of work. All right, Matt Taylor, why don't you come up? Matt Taylor, professor of sociology, has an award as well.
Thank you, Mark. When I received the email from Mark looking for students who are engaged in the community, the first person that popped in my mind was Gary Marinin. I met Gary Marinin. He's a student in my social theory class. And what first struck me was how committed he was to academic excellence. Anytime that I was in the library or in the cafe, I could always find Gary there doing research, reading books. He's pursued his interest by giving lectures in the academic arena here at Worcester State University and other universities in other parts of the country, going down to the ASA conferences and presenting papers there. But what's really striking about Gary is his commitment on the local level. So he does what he's supposed to do in the classroom, but he's also out engaging in the Worcester community. He's reached out to Worcester Public Schools and used Worcester State as a resource. He's been heavily involved in some of the organization going on over the last few months with Occupy Wall Street. And instead of just protesting, he wanted to be concrete and proactive. And he was able to take the advantages of the resources here at Worcester State University and put them into practice and have a teaching where professors at Worcester State give lectures to people in the community about organization and how can we better take the burden of responsibility as citizens of Worcester on ourselves. As President Maloney, I think, said, sometimes government is inefficient, and the best resource we have are our students in this university. And so with that, I'd like to celebrate Gary. Welcome him up here and thank you.
When I said the day was special, and you are special, that word is in capital letters for the chorale, who has come to enliven our spirits and our hearts. And I want to tell you, as someone who had the privilege to travel with them on their tours, they are remarkable here and abroad. And Dr. Christy Nigro has done an incredible job bringing beautiful music out of all of them. So Christy?
A gift to be simple, a gift to be free, a gift to be simple, a gift to be free, a gift to be free, a gift that sounds the just right, to be in the valley of light and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we shan't be ashamed. Turn, turn to be at the right, so turn, turning we come. A gift to be simple, a gift to be free. A gift to be simple, a gift to be free. A gift to come down free. And we ourselves the precious right to be in the valley of light and delight. The gift to be simple, the gift to be free, the gift to be sing, the gift to be free, the gift to be simple, the gift to be free, the gift to be free. Thank you so much. This is about, what, 1/3 of the community? Yeah, a lot of them had conflicts in classes, so they couldn't be here at this time. But we did manage to put together a contingent. Whenever we have to sing, we have to make sure we have all the voice parts covered. And sometimes that might be as few as 4, but as many as 8. So if we don't have all those parts covered, it limits our ability to say yes. Anyway, our next song is going to be one that we performed. Actually, the next 2 are songs that we did as Singing Valentines, just something we do every year to raise funds for the chorale's concert tours. And this coming, not this year, but the next academic year, we are hopefully going to Italy. So we're really excited about that whole prospect. Anyway, this one is called When I Fall in Love. When I fall in love, it will be forever, or I'll never fall.
the moment. I can feel that you feel that way too. It's when I fall in, when I fall in, when I fall in, when I fall. That's when I fall in love with you. Fall in love with Okay, our last. It's very clear our love is here to stay. Not for a year, but ever and a day. The radio and the telephone and the movies that we know may be passing fancies, and in time may go. But oh my dear, our love is here to stay. Our love is here to stay. Together we're going a long, long way, long, long way. In time the Rockies may crumble, Gibraltar may tumble. They're only made of clay, but our love is here. Our love is here. Our love is here to stay.
Community Engagement Awards. Is there another award from sociology that's supposed to happen? Okay, okay. We have now Earth Sciences, and is Glenn, you here?
Yes, I've been teaching classes in earth sciences about energy for many years, and there are actually classes where we get to apply a few things once in a while, but normally not in the class. I mean, the principles we learn about conserving energy. And actually, Mike Sutton had been doing this before he even got into my class as a member of the Worcester Energy Barn Raisers, a volunteer group where we go out and weatherize places, which means do air sealing, minor repairs, a little bit of insulation. You know, you lose a lot of heat if you have a broken cellar window or windows that don't lock and so on. It's also a rather ratty, dirty job. And I think Mike wore the wrong uniform for the barn raisers today, but he looks very good. So we also serve a lot of other nonprofits. So we help them in their missions. So Dismas House was mentioned. We did one at one of their places, and the Genesis Club Mike participated on the one where we were sealing up the leaks and so on their guest house. And the Emmanuel Baptist Church, another example. One last one that he worked on was for a housing co-op with young students from various schools. And, you know, they're couldn't afford to pay for heat and so on. Actually, their heat was broken when we were working on the place. And so anyway, the name is the Worcester Energy Barn Raisers, and I'm going to ask Mike for information about how to contact us, because he put us on the social network, which I haven't figured out yet. But so I think our name is a way to, you could phone call us for a message. Anybody has a house that's leaking, drafting, you think you can save some money and you have trouble to afford to pay for that, we go out and take a look. Mike's run different teams when we come together. We call ourselves barn raisers in the Amish tradition, the community coming together, but we're actually sealing out air leaks and that sort of thing. And Mike was the upper story man in the Baptist Church Gymnasium, sealing all around the windows up there. And one of the things with a lot of volunteers, part of what we do is share what we've learned about caulking and air sealing and repairs and so on, is that we always have a big group of volunteers, and many of them doing this for the first time. So we want people to go home or be able to go to their churches or non-profits or wherever and help. He was involved in an outreach event as well for Spanish speakers, and we had props and demonstrations, and he's always trucking things around. He and I have the oldest trucks around, and usually one of them's working at least. So Mike, please come up.
I know the afternoon is getting long. We have 2 more presentations, but before we do, I want to invite up Cassie Giardina to do a brief presentation. In tandem with Aldo's trip to Nicaragua, some of us from that class and others went to Heifer International, which is runs a farm in Rutland, Overlook Farm, and does work in caring for the earth, hunger alleviation, and poverty education. And so Cassie's just going to say a couple words, show a couple pictures from that trip. And then we'll conclude with Chico and Dr. Powell. Thank you.
Hello. So as I'm talking about the trip that I went on, there's pictures in a slideshow. There's not many, but there's a few, just to get more of an idea about what they're about as I talk. So I was one of the many students that went on the service learning trip to Overlook Farm for the program Heifer International. It's an organization that works with poverty-stricken communities in countries all over the world, and they provide aid in animals and not through money. And they're a learning center at Overlook Farm that teaches anybody that is interested more about these various ways of helping and how these ways can be better than just giving money, because they're more long-lasting ways of helping. So Overlook Farm is one of the 2 learning centers here. There's another larger one in Arkansas, I believe. And we went on a trip, me and some people with Mark Wagner, went on a 2-night trip, including working with the farm animals, learning and just experiencing a little bit what that was about. On the trip, we learned that giving animals can be much more effective than money, because they provide, like I said, they provide more than one resource. As a cow could provide meat and milk, motivation, and other things like chickens give eggs, and they all can also give things that the families can sell. And then also another huge way that they help throughout the community is when they provide these animals to these families in the communities, they are pregnant, and once the animals have babies, they have to give it to another family that is suffering in the community. So it's kind of a way to, once they're reaching out to one family, it goes on throughout the community. We also learned about agriculture sustainability. We learned how growing your own gardens on farms and raising your own animals gets rid of a lot of the packaging and plastic that you find in grocery stores that is all over the place. And you can have healthier food because there's no chemicals or anything put into your own raised food and animals.
Also, the second night that we were there, we stayed in this thing called the Global Village, experiencing firsthand what it was like to be one of the families that was in need. We had to cook from scratch with very limited materials. Me personally had to learn how hectic it was to have to buy food in the market with limited money and knowledge about what was going on. We also experienced this by sleeping and living with no heat, air conditioning, beds or carpets, no technology. And overall, we just learned many useful ways to recycle, save energy, save food and water, and more useful ways to aid those who suffer from poverty and hunger other than just money. So it was a really good experience and I learned a lot.
Now we'd like to invite Dr. Chico Gatho to come and tell us about the awardees in the nonprofit management program. Chico.
Thank you, everyone, and thank you for sticking around. One of the worst things about being in urban studies is that we always get called out last. So we always have to be here, but thank you so much for sticking around. The students that I nominated for these awards are all graduating students in the Master of Science in Nonprofit Management program. The Master of Science in Nonprofit Management program obviously is about service by its very nature, but these three students exemplified what you would want to see a student do, or a student of Worcester State, what we would hope that they do. Not only have they been involved in service, but they've also combined service with scholarship, which has been very useful, not just for the people that they have helped during their volunteer work, but also for themselves as they actually study some of the problems that they've seen in the programs that they have volunteered in, and have action recommendations so that they can not only use their hands in doing whatever it is that they help in doing, but also use the knowledge that they learn in the program to help the program be more successful. So I just call all three of them together: Alexandra, Salcido, Manjola, Luma, and Jolene Jennings. So Alex is an international student from Ecuador, and when she came here 2 years ago, she wanted to be part of the community of Worcester. So she looked around and decided that she was going to be involved in work at the Worcester Public Library. And there she has been doing volunteer work, purely volunteer work, for the last 2 years at the Worcester Public Library bookstore. At the same time, she has also been involved in various other things, various other community things in Worcester, and I won't go through them right now, but she has been, at the Worcester Public Library, she's been able to work 200 hours every year, so that's 400 hours in the last 2 years, and has served 2,000 people. She's also currently doing her thesis on the Worcester Public Library, trying to find out how better they can serve their patrons and how they can survive the new digital world where books are no longer the thing that people are using. At the same time, all three of them are involved in an ongoing project of working in a food pantry, which Jolene went and did the research and secured this opportunity for all the students in the non-profit management program. So that's an ongoing thing. So congratulations. Mani is also an international student. She's from Albania. And when she came here, she was very interested in getting involved in the Albanian community in Worcester. So what she did was what she's been doing since she's been here for 2 years is to volunteer in the Albanian school, which serves kids who are here from Albania. And we talked about immigration here. So you know that a lot of the time when parents come with their children, sometimes the children get involved. It's easier for them to get involved in the culture and become American much more faster than their parents. So and at the same time, the parents don't exactly want their children to forget where they came from. So what the Albanian school does is to be a bridge between the parents and the kids, so that what Mani has been doing is teaching the kids Albanian, because now they're here and they only speak English. So in that way, she's helping to bridge the gap between the kids and the parents. She's also a board member of that school, and just using her scholarship, she did an independent study where she raised over $1,000 for the school. She just went around to Albanian businesses and individuals and fundraised that money all by herself. So she's really been doing very well. And again, for her thesis, as I said, she's combined this with her service with scholarship. So for her thesis, she's looking at the tensions or I would say the tensions, let's say the challenges of parents and children and how they communicate. As I said, when they come in, the children very quickly become American, but the parents are still Albanian. So she's trying to find out what are the challenges and how can they be helped to have better communication. So congratulations. Finally, Jolene. I can only say that Jolene is one person who doesn't believe in doing things the easy way. She will go look at where is the problem and she will find out a way to solve the problem. Just looking at what she's been doing in her volunteer work, when she was here as an undergraduate, she founded the first Women's Forum Special Interest Group. And she organized a march to Washington, and she did all these things. It was something new that she actually brought to the college. When she graduated, again she volunteered and co-founded the Worcester chapter of Dress for Success. Many of you might have had that program. It's a program that helps women who are getting from welfare to work, and helps them to dress professionally. So she started that program, and she actually, using her knowledge from the nonprofit management program, she helped them apply for the nonprofit 550C1 status. So, and now the program, and she also fundraised over $10,000 in that program, and now it's a steady program that is ongoing. And more recently, she's been, as I said, involved in the food pantry project that the nonprofit management program is undertaking. So congratulations.
Well, you've been hearing lots of good things about service. I didn't know if you also were aware that we are HOT at Worcester State. And HOT is the name of our hunger outreach team. And will all of the people who are involved in HOT please stand up here now? Okay. One of the ways in which people put food on the table is through using assistance that's available. And lots of folks don't know that SNAP, formerly known as food stamps, is available to people all over the country. And in Worcester, it's available to college students, as well as to families and to elders. And the group that knows the least about the program are elders, because they believe that it's only for other people, and that they don't want to take anything from a younger person, and they don't know that they can still have a house and a car, and the fact that they can't put food on the table because of what's going on in the economy, they shouldn't be penalized and they should have access. This HOT team has been going on for 2 years, and we've been able to work in the community, and now we work on campus, and if you look on the tables, you will see the little bookmarks. We are working with students on this campus, and we're also working across the street at Quinsigamond Community College, where there's a large population of folks who are only commuter students. Well, today we want to recognize 2 of the many people on that team for their extraordinary leadership and their ways of getting it together. And first I would like to recognize Helen Schuster, who came into my office a few years ago. She's the retired head librarian of WPI, and she said, I want to be useful. I want to be of service. And those were such wonderful words to my ears. I was thrilled. And I soft-pedaled it. I told her what we were doing, and I said, think about it. And she came back. And she came back and has been a key person in our program. Of course, she's got fabulous research skills, and anything we need followed up, Helen can do it. But she's also a great organizer. She's the one that has Tomorrow organized across the street. And Helen's ethic of service goes very, very deep. And you can tell when Helen's involved that, it's like, don't thank me. This is a privilege. This is something I want to do. But today, Helen, we want to thank you, and we want to acknowledge that Helen and the other person we're going to recognize, Amanda Johnson, that together we went to the American Society on Aging conference in DC and did a whole workshop on SNAP. And we were thrilled that one of the people in the audience is doing a national study on outreach to elders, and said, what you're doing is terrific. Can I put you in my study of best practices? And we said, oh yes. Helen's husband also contributes to this effort, because we do a food stamp bingo at senior housing and senior centers, and the bingo, on and on, the facts are repeated on and on, people win prizes, but they also learn about SNAP, and then we assist them. So Helen, would you please come forward?
Thank you. Thank you.
I want to recognize Amanda Johnson. Amanda's grandmother has died, and the funeral is today, so she's not able to be with us. But Amanda is the coordinator of all that happens. We have an office in Urban Studies, thank you very much, Urban Studies, where we offer this free and confidential assistance, and Amanda takes care of the scheduling and anything that needs. She said, I'll do it, I can do it, I can do it, and she does. She was the designer of our bookmarks there, and she had an incredible experience going to Washington, and Amanda is going to serve and serve and serve again, because that's the kind of woman she is. And so we're sorry she can't be with us, but we honor her and her spirit of giving and her energy. Now folks, in your booklet are many classes that have done service. And Mark, I think we should at least acknowledge the classes.
Sure, yeah. Okay, and if you notice in the program, I have a shout out there to my advisory board, some of whom are still here. Why don't those of you who are here stand up? The Center for Service Learning and Civic Engagement Advisory Board, I see Amy, Susan, Lisa, Kelsey. Kelsey and Alex, two of the first students to be on our board. I'm not going to continue to carry on, but you'll notice that just some of the courses that have done service this year are celebrating their students, and we've listed some of those in the program, in addition to some of the other service courses, including the videotaped program, Dr. Warwick's quantitative analysis class, media writing with Barbara Zong, and Suzanne Bugliona's classes. I think Suzanne is left, and Dr. Guevara as well, who's been up here a number of times. But we really thank everybody for today. This was such an uplifting event, and really appreciate Amy, incredible help today. I really appreciate it, and everyone, Maureen as well. Maureen kind of took me through this.
Over and under. And I just want to acknowledge if there are any students from the Human Needs and Social Policy class that are still here. I believe Kaylee's over there. All the work that they've done. The students who actually do the tutoring in the practicums, and all of the immigrant learners who have come to be among us. It's an honor to have you. And we are so